Good morning, Selamat Pagi. Welcome back to my No Name channel. This is another Bali COVID-19 update for May 30th, 2021. Kind of May 30th, 2021. I've been sick for the last week, really sick, and so I'm posting this actually. Today is June 1st. I should have posted it on the 30th on Sunday, 2 days ago, but I haven't. So I'll be doing another one, my usual Sunday one. This is coming Sunday. My voice is gone. I've lost 9 kilos in the last week, so I'm not quite right physically yet. But let's get on with things and take a look at the numbers, which are really good and not so good. So, numbers in Bali, 42 new cases, which gives us a total of 47,215 and 45,044 recoveries, 1,500 deaths. Wow. Remember when we had 0? And we're down to 671 active cases. Really good. So, these are all great numbers. Of the 42, all were Indonesians, 40 were local transmissions, 1 was a domestic traveler, 1 was an international traveler. And by regencies, Bulaling 5, Klungkung 5, Badung 5, Tabanan 5, Gianyar 5, Denpasar 4, Jembrana 4, Karangasem 2, Bangli 0. And for the week, we're down 37% from the week before. So great news. Bali is looking good right now. What's the bad news? Our numbers nationally are going up. So numbers in Bali going down, nationally going up. That's not a good sign. It's not a good sign for us because people come in here from other parts of Indonesia, other islands, and the virus is increasing in those places. Is this from the surge that people were expecting from the post-Lebaran holiday? Could be. So why are the numbers lower here? Could have something to do with vaccinations, and so that is the big thing to talk about today, just like it was last week. And so vaccinations are going on all over the island. In Bangli, the region said that they expect to hit the target of 70% as more vaccinations are now reaching down at the Banjar level. The Bangli Health Office initially received 25,000 doses, which they gave out, and they now have got an additional 30,000 doses. So we are not out of vaccines, which is the good news. In Badung, first dose vaccinations have reached 274,000 people, and 149,646 people have been completely vaccinated. And Denpasar expects to be completely done, 100% done by July. So we've got 1 month, right? There's that July target. So the government kept saying June, July. Well, here's June. We're not opening, right? But what about July? I don't know. I haven't seen any new news, and to tell you the truth, I really haven't kept up on the news this last week. I was looking today, going back over things, and nothing about the updates on this July opening. So far, I guess we're still looking at July, but we'll talk about that in a minute. And in Kubu, district of Karangasem, they've exceeded their target. And here in Bulaling, continuing to vaccinate people. Over in this part of Bulaling, they're done right now, and they're focusing on Suririt down to the north, south, east, west of us. Okay. And vaccinations. at 41% seeking herd immunity. Badung is a priority. So the government said that Bali is still receiving priority for vaccines. As of May 20th, Bali had received 2.6 million doses, and the target is 6 million, with a vaccination target of 3 million or 70%, which we've been talking about, in order to reach herd immunity. And of last Monday, so that would be 8 days ago now, Bali is at 41% vaccinated, and the governor has called for continued acceleration of the vaccination so that the whole island can become COVID-free. Denpasar and Badung regencies are priorities because that's where tourists come in. That's the center, the government said, of tourist activity, and so Denpasar and Badung are the focus. Bulang, as I said, 100% now here, and Karangasem is on its way. So every regency is on target or above target, and so that's great. Are we going to hit the 70% by July? The government's pretty optimistic about that. So vaccinations ongoing, as I said, and people are getting their shots. So good news on that part. Okay, next. So what do we have? Things are looking good here, not so great overall in the country. What about our neighbors? Because, well, some of our neighbors are being targeted for this COVID corridor, and which I'll talk about in a minute. So let's take a look at our neighbors. Southeast Asian countries battle COVID resurgence amid lack of vaccines. So an article in The Guardian looks at the COVID situation in our neighboring countries, number of which seemingly had the virus under control, but don't anymore. Thailand's caseload has quadrupled since April. Malaysia is establishing field ICU units to take care of patients with severe illnesses, and on Saturday, Malaysia recorded the highest number of new cases with 9,020. And yeah, that's not good. Vietnam and Singapore are dealing with new clusters and have introduced new lockdown measures. According to Professor Ying of the Public Health at National University of Singapore, it's entirely possible that because of the inequity that we are starting to see in accessing vaccines, the epidemic of the epicenter of the epidemic will shift. He said that new strains of B1617, first found in India, is fast and aggressive. Singapore has vaccinated 25% of its population. Thailand fully vaccinated less than 1.5%, and Malaysia at 2.88%, Vietnam less than 1%. So here in Bali, what did I say a few minutes ago? 41% in Bali. Overall in the country, last I heard, we were somewhere around 2.5%. Countries have implemented a variety of partial lockdowns, such as shorter opening hours for businesses, closing parks, bars, gyms, and schools, and limiting dining for restaurants. So, excuse me, what does that say for us? Well, let's take a look at what's going to happen with the opening, and so that's next. Bali targets 4 countries for opening. According to the Deputy Chairman of the Bali Chamber of Commerce and Industry for Accommodation and Tourism Development, Dr. Imade Ramia Adnyana, said that Bali has the highest rate, 96%, of compliance with mask wearing, and that this, along with implementing health protocols, means that we should be open for business in July. And according to him, this can work with a travel COVID arrangement, TCA, with 4 countries. And I'm going to update this in a second. Singapore, Netherlands, Middle East, and Korea, according to him. Now, this next article is going to be just a little different. So he said that in order to make this happen, it's necessary to build trust in these countries. This can come about by increasing 5M compliance, such as wearing masks, washing hands, maintaining distance, avoiding crowds, and limiting travel and interaction, as well as an increase in testing, tracing, and treatment, and the acceleration of vaccinations, which is happening. According to him, 1.7 million people have been vaccinated here. He said the green zone should be extended to include Tuban, Kuta, Lagayan, and Seminyak. And he added that while there is a high compliance, some of the community are still getting lax, and he said this includes tourists who refuse to wear a mask, and there's not going to be any bad tourist part today, partly because I've been sick and partly because there's been nothing big that's popped up, which is good news. And so he concluded that Bali's metrics for a green zone should be clear and published so that other countries know that we are safe and ready for business. And so this is 4 countries that he said. Now, go into something a little more recent, and according to our old friend Pak Uno of the Tourism Ministry, Indonesia in travel corridor talks with 7 countries. And Pak Uno said he's working on and has met with ministers or ambassadors from 7 countries to set up travel corridor arrangements. And these countries are Belgium, France, Russia, Singapore, UK, Netherlands, and Vietnam. Well, now we know that in Vietnam and Singapore, things are not going quite so well. I'm not sure about the situation in the European countries. But according to Pak Uno, he said that we hope that once the COVID-19 situation has become more conducive, the TCAs can be implemented within a short period of time. So we're getting some mixed signals here on which countries these travel corridor arrangements are. So on the one hand, there was Korea, the Middle East, the Netherlands, and Singapore. And so the Netherlands and Singapore seem to be on everybody's list. And then we have some of the European countries, Belgium, France, Russia, well, it's Russia, European partly. The UK is the UK. And so where are we? Those talks are ongoing. And so we're still a month away. So what's happening while we're waiting for this? Well, we've got some domestic stuff going on, and this has been, this next story has been talked about a lot in the last few days. And so what is this story? The government is sending civil servants to Bali. The government plans to send about 25% of all civil servants under 8 government bodies to Bali to work in order to aid in boosting the economy. Our friend, the Tourism and Creative Economy Minister, Pak Sandiaga Uno, said that the plan is in the final stages of formulation, and the plan comes from the Office of the Coordinating Maritime Affairs and Investment Ministry and the 7 bodies underneath it. And this is expected to increase Bali's GDP by sending 25% of government employees here to work. Pak Uno said, "We think that this scheme is right on target, right on time, and can produce the right benefits because our friends in Bali need our help." And the Badung government is optimistic about the Work from Bali program. The head of the Badung Tourism Agency Pak Chakorda Raka Dharmawan, is optimistic that the plan to send 25% of government staff from Java to Bali would make a massive impact on the tourism sector in the Badung region. Nusa Dua, as the appointed area to receive the government staff in the Work from Bali program, is now ready to operate under strict prevention protocols, he said. This will help increase the occupancy rates of Nusa Dua hotels. Dharmawan explained that the program is launched to prepare the tourism workers in Nusa Dua area before finally receiving international visitors once the borders reopen in the near future. Everybody's talking about the near future still. He claimed that all accommodations in Nusa Dua, such as hotels and restaurants, have implemented prevention protocols and 100% have the CHSE certification, which I've talked about before. But he reminded everyone, everybody still needs to keep doing wear the mask, social distancing, all of those. Continue on with those. And so how is this going to work? I don't know. The government and the tourism players seem to think that getting this Work from Bali program going here is going to help. And, well, if we get a bunch of civil servants and they're all negative, excuse me, they're all negative, well, then that could be a good thing. It's going to bring some money in, and some money is better than none right now. Okay, and so that's where we are with that. Okay, and so let's get into a wrap-up. You can see I'm losing my voice rapidly. Are we going to open in July? Possibly. Maybe yes, maybe no. Who knows? If I could tell you for sure, I'd buy some stock in something and become rich. I just can't read the future. But it's quite possible that we are going to reach the 70% herd immunity in the next month. And so that's great. Well, the 70% number, is that going to be herd immunity? I don't know. It looks like people are continuing to comply at a high level with the health and safety protocols. There were no big stories in the last week about foreigners misbehaving. There have been some misbehaving things, but not really anything to do with the health and safety protocols. And yes, it's really hot, and so if it was me, I wouldn't be booking the flight for July anyway, but maybe August. We don't know what's happening with these travel corridor arrangements, the TCAs. Are they going to work? Are people going to come here when we still have numbers nationally rising, even though our numbers here are falling? It's possible. It's hard to tell. Are we going to get massive numbers? Yeah, probably not. You notice that in both of these stories that I talked about the TCAs, China was not mentioned again. So China seems to be out of the game right now, and of course Australia out of the game as well. So where are people going to come from? Well, we're getting plenty of Russians in anyway. So if we do get a TCA with Russia, you can expect an increase in Russian tourists, as well as Europeans, I think. A lot of Europeans have been coming in and I think once the borders are open, will continue to come in. Now, there's been this question that people have asked me about the 14-day quarantine. Nothing has been decided yet. That was a recommendation for coming in, but there's been no decision. If the 14-day quarantine is implemented, is that going to affect things? Yeah, I think it will. Particularly in countries that have their own quarantines when you come back. So how's that going to work out? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. So thanks for viewing. My voice is about gone. Thanks for viewing. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. And on Sunday, hopefully I will be better and be back to my normal voice. If you're here in Bali, wear a mask, follow the safety protocols, be kind to someone today, and see you next time.